Matera brought to Expo Dubai 2020 a great contribution in two ways. One, that led the European Capital of Culture to meet outside Europe. The second contribution was that Matera launched the idea of creating immediately a platform among the European Capital of Culture to participate in the new Bauhaus.
The European Capital of Culture can be the ideal playground in order to practice some projects inspired to the NEB values, the new European Bauhaus value.
I would choose sustainability because it's very important that our project, CONAS 2022, is opening spaces that are respectfully green and cultural friendly for the citizens, also for the guests and for everybody.
Well, of course our world is together. We are evolving and we are building a completely new concept of the European capital, which will include two cities. So our world is simply together. We will build a sustainable cultural center and we will become one city from the cultural perspective. And together is the future.
Why Open Design School is a prototype or a tool to apply the principle of the new European Bauhaus. It is sustainable. We use open structures, open systems that allow everybody to reuse modules, to be interchanged, repaired, thus not producing other garbage, but promoting a circular approach to architecture and design as well. It is inclusive because open design promotes inclusiveness in a way that everybody is allowed to participate. It is invited to participate to the definition of a design solution. It's accessible because accessibility and diversity are at the basis of our principles, and it's a representation of togetherness because all together different professionals and common citizens shape different solutions for complex challenges.
I really think the industrial side of Belval is a really great place in ASH 2022 because it mixes everything. It combines all the ideas of ASH 22. You have culture, you have innovation, you have technologies, you have the University of Luxembourg, and it's really a great place which helps to improve the quality of life of all the inhabitants in ASH 2022.
Now, perhaps the most important aspect of cultural stations covered within Novi Sad European Capital of Culture project is the fact that stations will remain the infrastructural and cultural legacy of the city of Novi Sad after the title year, which brings our city closer to the contemporary European tendencies and initiatives such as the new European Bauhaus initiative.
I think that a very important thing today is to see how design can really tackle the big challenge of our time. We need to have something that we could call design at large by including many disciplines, by having probably people with a background in architecture, design and planning coordinate a process that must actually absolutely engage many other disciplines. Is that you got a place. The place can be an expo, like we are today. The place can be a city, like Helsinki, like the European Capitals of Culture, you name it, a place which becomes like a living lab.
The European Capitals of Culture display a privilege, leading platform for creation, experiences sharing. This platform additionally operates as a living laboratory for social innovation and a pool of best practices in regenerating cities, embracing civic activation and co-creation, connecting communities at local, national and European level.
Culture, a lot of European Capital of Culture work on including their programs also a number of projects located in a small village. Most of them are very remote village. And the sense of remoteness, which is a neutral word, is extremely important. Because culture can give different significations, different meanings. For instance, culture can work when can work on stereotypes and can also give on stereotypes about a small village, can give new connections and new perspectives to the resilient communities. And also artists can be seen as temporary citizens.
The further activation of the public space and the implementation of artistic actions in urban, suburban, coastal, green spaces, rural, spaces in intense use or abandoned spaces were strategically chosen. Areas with great value of cultural, architectural, industrial or environmental heritage are hosting our artistic program. During the last 2 years, we managed to execute almost all our artistic program in spaces and areas which had never been used before. We succeeded in changing the mentality of strictly cultural infrastructure to an open-minded new concept.
We are extremely keen to change the mindset of Europe about our own hinterlands. Oulu is a white city in the brave hinterland, presenting its cool contrasts, one of which is the interplay between urban and rural. In Finland, the pandemic has created a big pull to move to small, sparsely populated municipalities, yet the cultural institutions and contents mainly are in the big cities at the moment. So this creates a big need for remote contents.
I think remote became much more remote recently because of the pandemic. But on the other hand, for example, in Hungary, we experienced that people from urban areas try to move to the rural areas, and it caused many new conflicts in the small villages, for example. And I think our biggest challenge is now to find the balance between the old communities and between the new communities, finding new patterns to live together for them. And that's, for example, in Hungary, in Veszprém 2023, that's one of our goals, to find these missing connections, the missing new ways of living together.
So I believe culture and cultural initiatives are very important bridge builders, that you cannot understand a city without its regional environment, and that in order to make the best of any location, what you have is to ensure that there is accessibility and there are from transport connections to identity conversations between the urban and the rural. And I believe the European Capital of Culture program is making quite a distinct contribution, because it brings an opportunity to get the spotlight, to have a platform in the European context, and to establish links between stakeholders that often do not talk to each other. So again, getting this momentum, getting this common agenda for places can make an enormous difference.
We must be together to create something very important. Alone we can go, but together we can go more quickly.